It's the Infectious Groove Podcast, part of the Odd Pods Media Network. Recorded from Detroit, Michigan, and Jacksonville, Florida. The Infectious Groove Podcast is your source for jammy jams, album reviews, and the best in-depth music discussion. Thanks for joining us. Now here are your hosts.
Hey, my name is Russ from the Infectious Groove Podcast, and boy, is everybody in for a treat this week because Michelle is back on her own program. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, I did it. I'm back.
You are back, and the audience didn't hear it, but your microphone was unplugged just a second ago.
No, I have this thing where you can mute it.
I see. Now, is that different from the time that we did an entire episode where you couldn't figure out why we couldn't hear you very well? And then 2 days after we recorded the episode, you told me it was because you figured out you had your headset on backwards?
That is different from that.
That's
yes.
different from that. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Different problems.
Okay, good. I was just checking. And Michelle, you have joined us back this week on your own program for an album review. And who got to pick the album review this time?
I did. It's my favorite episodes.
Yeah. This is what keeps you going.
It does.
On the show is just you getting back to everyone hearing your picks.
Yes.
Right on. Michelle has chosen for us an album by an artist named Gin Wigmore, and the album is called Blood to Bone. So we will be discussing that review of that record in the second half of the program. And am I wrong? I think you ask me this on a regular basis, so I'm probably asking the wrong person. But did you take me to see Gin Wigmore once in concert, or am I making that up?
On your birthday.
Okay, that's what I thought. I don't know why. I always figure I
really gave you the best gift.
Yeah, the gift of you and an artist I hadn't heard at the time.
Yes.
Right on. So anyways, that will be the topic in the second half of the program. And so that, of course, will be all sorts of fun. But before we get into that, we have our usual segments we'll knock out. So here we go.
Feedback, Joe.
Don't worry about that. Right. Rock and roll be without feedback.
We had a new viewer of our YouTube channel write in on our, somebody asked me a long time ago on the YouTube channel to do my top 5 Rage Against the Machine songs of all time. And so I did.
They have more than 5?
They do. Believe it or not. Yeah. They have a lot more than 5 songs. They have like 6.
Oh, no.
They have like 6 studio albums. So
6?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, I guess it depends on if you count their covers album as a studio album or not. You know what I mean? That's
quite ambitious of them.
Yes. They have a lot of rage. So anyways, someone wrote in on our YouTube channel, an account called Teaching Trends wrote in and said, my personal favorite songs are Bulls on Parade and Sleep Now in the Fire. I would love to see your channel do your top 5 Soundgarden, Silverchair, and Pearl Jam songs. I am so excited I found this channel because I live for music. So that is what we're here for. So we're happy that you found the channel as well. Sean and Chris wrote in regarding our cover battle last week, which was my son Zach joined us on the program for the Boys of Summer versus Don Henley versus the Ataris in the Boys of Summer. Totally epic cover battle. Sean and Chris wrote in and said, this cover battle sent me down an 80s wormhole, as in a Richard Marx right here waiting for you kind of wormhole, that's not a bad wormhole to get sent down, in my opinion. Sean and Chris go on to say, when it comes to Don Henley's version, I disagree with both of you when it comes to how it feels. To me, its song feels exactly like the early 80s. When it came out, I knew what era it was in and was ready to follow it up with some Summer of 69. Also, your son Zach has an awesome name. Now, when it comes to the cover battle, Don Henley's version is one I immediately recognized and enjoyed. I didn't even think I knew that the Ataris covered this song. So that's interesting because one thing on that episode, Michelle, was that I was figuring Zach would bring a different perspective to it because he's younger, and I assumed he would have known the Ataris version first before the Don Henley version, right? He had never heard either version of the song.
Oh, so that's a parenting fail on your part.
I like how you always find a way to turn everything around. Have you tried to monetize that talent?
No. How do I do that?
I don't know. That's on you to find out.
Do you think that I can? Never mind.
Okay. Our friend Seth from the Treble podcast writes in and says, it was lovely listening to Zach on the podcast. However, I don't understand the stuck in time accusations for the Ataris. I'm more with Russ on that, but I believe it's because I was alive when it came out. So in my proclivity for pop punk music. So just so you know, Michelle, what we were talking about with that is like, you know, obviously it's Sean and Chris disagree, and so does Seth. For me, the Don Henley version of Boys of Summer sounds timeless. Like, it doesn't sound like it's stuck in the 80s to me. And Zach was saying that for him, the Atari's version, when he hears it, it just sounds like the early 2000s to him. Like, that's one of the reasons why he didn't like it as much as the Don Henley one, is because to him it sounds very dated. So do you have a horse in that race?
Oh, Zach is wrong.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. It does sound very 2000s, but I don't think that's, and I also disagree with you. I don't think that the Don Henley version sounds timeless. It's very much sounds like it's from the era.
So you just disagree with everyone.
Yeah. And also Zach's wrong because the Atari's version is better. So.
All right. Garrett writes in and says, I really enjoyed the chemistry you had with you and your son. It was very fun to listen. He's got a great way of talking about his music, and he needs to be on more, which we will try and do in the next season for sure. Rounding things out, we have a new viewer of the YouTube channel replied to a video we just put up today called 5 Reasons to Give Chris Gaines Another Chance, because people just do not give the Garth Brooks Chris Gaines project anywhere near the level of interest that they should, at least in my opinion. Then the new viewer, Michael, writes in and says, if this isn't my favorite Garth Brooks album, it's at least in the top 3 for me. At least 4 of those songs would have probably been big hits if they had been released on a, quote, regular Garth album. I'm not sure what people were expecting from this album, but I always just listen to it like it's another Garth Brooks album, and I love it. Knowing how varied his influences were and the variety of music didn't shake me, of course. I actually listened to more acts he listed as his influence because of it, which is how I did too. Like I think there's a lot of reasons, and I detail them in the video as to why that record didn't do as well as it should have. But that, for me, that's one of them, is there's so much diversity on there and people didn't really know what to do with that. And for me, I was like, okay, well, I'm all for that, and I'm going to go listen to more stuff like this now too. So as we always say, you can leave us feedback pretty much anywhere. Everything I just read came from YouTube comments, came from our Twitter, came from podcast listening apps, came from Facebook and Instagram. So find us on any one of those places. Leave us feedback, or you can always give us a call, 313-364-9899, and leave us a voice message. Now let's get into what we've been listening to. Our jammies. I've got 2 artists who are completely different from each other and a very specific time and era for each one that I've been listening to really heavily this week. One is, and now, Michelle, I know it's a running joke on the show that we always go, yeah, but you do like country though. And you're like, but I don't though. Okay. This country artist is like, this is the country I know for sure you don't like. You know, like I would never put this on and go like, oh, Michelle will like this. Like, you know how you like Darius Ruckus or Rucker or Little Big Town.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is an artist that I would never put on and be like, oh, Michelle, no, she likes country. Dwight Yoakam, who is, yeah, just country, right? And he has 3 songs that have been just absolutely stuck in my head this past week. One is called Guitars and Cadillacs, and the chorus of that, Michelle, is guitars, Cadillacs, and hillbilly music. Like, you know, it's like, that is like not what you want to listen to.
Just getting straight to the point of the song.
Right. Yep. And then the other 2 are actually, I think they're from the next record after that. One is called 1,000 Miles from Nowhere, which is probably the most contemporary sounding song. Like I might be able to get away with playing that for you and have you not immediately go, oh, this is the country I don't like. But then on the same record, there's another song called Pocket of a Clown that it starts with his a cappella vocal. Like if you push play on the track, it goes inside the pocket. I'm pretty sure by the time the music starts, you'd be like, shut it off. You know, like it's just not for you at all. But it takes me back to a certain time and place. Like I got heavily into mainstream country in the early 90s, like when Dwight Yoakam was a thing and Garth was a thing, just coming up really. And so I've had those stuck in my head. The other one is I've gone on the show in great detail about how much I love Pearl Jam's 5th album, Yield. Like I think it's hands down their best record. But this week I've had 3 different songs from it that are very different from each other stuck in my head enough to where I've done the thing where I'm like, I have to stop what I'm doing and listen to the song right now. One of them is like a mid-tempo ballad called In Hiding that I think has some beautiful lyrics and just great music from the band. There's another really rocking song called Pilot that I like a great deal. And then there's I guess you could call it a ballad, but there's a song called Wish List that I think has some of the best lyrics that Pearl Jam's ever done. And most people don't even really even know this song. Like, by people, I mean a casual Pearl Jam fan. Like, Pearl Jam, if there's Pearl Jam fans listening to this, they're going to be like, of course I know Wishlist. But the song is literally, the whole song is Eddie Vedder saying, I wish I was this, I wish I was this, I wish I was this. Like, it's a list of things that he wishes he was.
I'm aware of the song by R.E.M.
Well, okay. Of course, by R.E.M. But there's lyrics in the song, like there's one that says, I wish I was a full moon shining off a Camaro's hood. I think that's such a poetic line. There's another one that says, I wish I was a messenger and all the news was good. You know, just like it's like there's I wish I was the ornament you keep your house key on. You know, like just it's like so poetic and deep, and even the way the lyrics, it's almost he's singing but barely. Like it's almost like he's like saying these things. You know, it's really, really good. So anyways, Dwight Yoakam and Pearl Jam, but a very specific time and place for both of those artists have been my jammy jams. And of course, I've been putting time into the Gin Wigmore album that we'll get into in the second half as well. But having said that, every other week, the world stops what they're doing. It says, wait, Michelle's got jammy jams. What are they? So Michelle, come down from on high.
Assume that I have jammy jams.
Well, you know, we're 3 years into the show now. And at this point, it's a hope, but a hope with good intent, you know?
So last week, I could not get away from Good Charlotte. Like, I just got real deep into them again.
Was there something that triggered it?
I don't know. I heard it somewhere in the grocery store, probably. And then I just kept playing their albums, the ones that I like, the early ones, the original ones, you know. I liked them before they were cool.
Total sidebar on the grocery store. We were in the grocery store today and we heard Give Me One Reason by Tracy Chapman, but it was a completely different vocal take than I've ever heard in my whole life.
I think maybe you're just old and you couldn't hear it.
Jesus H Christ. Yep, that's exactly what it was. No, it's not that I've heard the song a million times and I know the vocal take like the back of my hand.
Do you think that she has a special compilation
Publix,
just for the grocery store?
Just for Publix? Yeah, probably. I would assume so. It's probably Tracy Chapman live at Publix. Who knows? Maybe she was there. She
might have been there singing it.
Could have been. Anyway, so Good Charlotte, you might have heard him in the grocery store, which is what sent me on my tangent.
I don't know what triggered it, but it might have been on the background somewhere, a commercial. I don't know.
Gotcha.
So I've been listening to them on and off. And then this week, when I started listening to Gin Wigmore, an artist came on afterwards that was similar. And her name is, or she goes by Cloves.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been really digging into her stuff, like listening to her like top songs on Spotify and trying to listen to more of her stuff. So.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because, and I don't want to spoil it, but we'll get into it in the album review. But when we get into the whole, would you recommend this album to somebody? That plays into it for me. Like the whole, what you might get into by listening to other artists, you know? And I know that people rail against like the algorithm and all that. And I know like Seth, when he was on the program, had a very legitimate complaint about how like the music industry is more or less payola now, right? Where like there was a thing where like when that Taylor Swift record launched, Seth was complaining about how like no matter what he was listening to, Spotify was like, do you want to hear Anti-Hero right after that? You know?
Yeah.
And I understand that, but like I would argue that overall you will find more good music by letting things play after what you like.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of the playlists are curated for you. So they're going to, if you even played one Taylor Swift song or even like whispered to your friend that you might like Taylor Swift, right. That it heard you and it's going to play it. But when you play an album or even just one singular song and you let it continue to play, it always plays something I've never heard before. Always.
Right. Which is rad.
Which I love it.
So it's,
unless it's an album that I don't like, then.
Right. Yeah. Unless it's Pink Floyd, then.
Then there's just more Pink Floyd.
But I didn't mean to cut you off on that though. Talk to me more about Cloves. What kind of
she's just a singer-songwriter, very she doesn't have the vocal uniqueness of Gin Wigmore, but definitely the same I don't know, style, I guess I would say. Because not all singer-songwriters are the same, and she definitely has that, I guess, moodiness, I would say. And I'm still digging into her stuff. I just discovered her yesterday, but I've been going back and forth between her and Gin Wigmore trying to listen up for today. So Neat. I'll pick up my few favorites from the little that I've listened to, but I really do like it. So.
Right on. I know you probably didn't do a deep dive or anything, but does she have a couple of records or just one? Or
She has. I did look this up earlier.
God help us if she has an EP in the mix.
It looks like she's only got 2 albums, 2018 and one in 2021. So she's relatively new.
Gotcha.
She looks like from the pictures on her album cover, just a young white girl with a lot to say. So
right on. All right, cool. Well, that is great. That I assume that is your Jammy Jams for this week. Right on. Cool. All right. Well, speaking of Michelle's Jammy Jams, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to get into an artist who has been Michelle's Jammy Jams more than a few times on the show. And as we mentioned earlier, she had me go to a concert on my birthday to go see. We are going to do we're going to do a review of Gin Wigmore's album Blood to Bone when we come back in a couple seconds. You're listening to the Infectious Brew Podcast on the Odd Pods Media Network.
Hi, I'm Shannon.
I'm Jamie.
We're Married with Television, marriedwithtv.com. We are a couple of Hollywood normies on the outskirts of the film and TV industry, and we talk about our favorite TV shows, music, and movies, and sometimes they talk back to us.
Sometimes they do.
Our podcast is Married with Television, one word, on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud.
Possibly Amazon soon. And we are a proud member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Married with TV.
MarriedWithTV.com.
I'm Richie, aka Midnight Agent Raw.
I'm Devin, aka Special Delivery Dev.
We're the Super Media Bros Podcast. And each week, we give a comedically informative take on movies,
Music,
television,
pro wrestling,
and much more. Check us out at supermediabrospodcast.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else that you can listen to podcasts. Shades on.
We're off.
Hi, I'm Dayton, the host of the Docking Bay 77 podcast. We talk about everything from Anthrax to the Muppets to West Side Story.
All right, boys, buckle up because we have hit the bottom of the barrel.
He slaughters all the Tusken Raiders. The fact that she stays by his side, that tells me everything I need to know about these women that write letters to serial killers in prison. You know, it made sense. You know,
mopey, young, sad, always dumped Tim. That was the theme song. You know.
When you listened, Tim, did you have the volume on? Or?
The witches are definitely much more nightmare fuel, but the fact that they look like the Texas Chainsaw centerfolds.
If Jango Fett is so awesome, he's hired to be cloned. Why the hell isn't he doing the job? He's like, my client's getting impatient. Well, what, you slack ass mother? Why don't you do it? You know, you're just. Check us out on Apple Podcast, Good Pods, Podbean, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back. It's Russ and Michelle, and we are doing the Infectious Groove podcast. And as we do when we rotate through our topics, oftentimes we come back around to album reviews. We usually rotate through ourselves, throw a crowd pick in the mix. And right now is the time of the year when Michelle is the happiest of all times.
Yay.
Because we are back to Michelle and her pick for an album review. Michelle has chosen for us to review Blood to Bone by Gin Wigmore. Gin Wigmore is from New Zealand. This album was released on June 24th, 2015. So it's actually kind of, I guess you could consider it an older album now. It is her third album. And one note that I thought was interesting when I was looking into this record is that this whole entire album was recorded in just 2 weeks, which I like a great deal. Some of my favorite records in history were recorded in 7 days or 2 weeks. So
I don't know how long it's supposed to take to record a record. So.
Chinese Democracy took 11 years.
Okay, well, not them.
Yeah. Generally, turnaround time on a record tends to be 6 months to a year. So it's quite impressive when an artist turns around a record that quick.
She was feeling it.
Yeah, absolutely. Gin Wigmore has really yet to break in the U.S. Really, as far as any charting, I couldn't find any sort of charting for this record in the U.S., but the record did top the charts in her homeland of New Zealand and in the adjacent Australia. at the time of release. So she has seen a lot of big success back home. She just hasn't really broken real big here in the US just yet. When we do these album picks, we always ask the person, why did they pick the album for us? And so that is on you, Michelle. Why did you pick this album for us to review?
Because I really like Gin Wigmore.
which is fine. And it's funny. I have this question. I have a follow-up question to why did you pick this record for us? Because I figured you were going to be like, because I like it. But I'm going to read the question the way that I wrote it on the page.
Yeah.
How did you get into gin?
So she has had a couple singles in, and I'd have to look for sure, like Grey's Anatomy, or I know for sure that another Shondaland. Remember the one with Peter Krause?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they used to play one of her other singles for their trailer, and I was like, "Who is this? Like, it's catchy. I really like her voice," and I Shazammed it, and I found out who it was, and I was addicted ever since. Like, there is not one album or song that I'm like disappointed by.
Right on.
I really like her whole catalog. So it was just really off to the races from the start, and I hope that more people will get into her.
Yeah, I noticed too when I was doing research on, the success or commercial lack thereof commercial success here in the US for that, is I noticed that too, that not just Shonda Rhimes stuff, but there are more than a few commercial uses of her songs here in the US in productions. And if you look at her catalog, like on Spotify, you can definitely tell which songs have been used in.
Oh, for sure. They have like millions of listens, and the other ones have like 500,000.
Yeah. There was, even on this record, there was a song, and I forget which one, but there was a song that had like 13 million listens, and the song right after it had like 200,000.
Yeah.
Which
those
by
are
the way,
probably the singles off this record.
Right. Yeah. So it's one of those things where, we, being in the US, a lot of times we think of ourselves as the end all be all market, And I know a lot of times artists really don't feel like they've made it, quote, until they've made it in the US as well. But I think that the definition of what making it is shifting every day anyways.
Oh yeah. And honestly, up until I was doing, like, just looking up stuff for her for this episode, I didn't really realize that she hadn't, like, quote unquote made it, because I hear her stuff like on TV, and like I was like, oh well, like if people are hearing it, then people are looking into her and listening to her. And I know she's played smaller places here, but she just came last year and played Soundboard at Motor City. And like, I mean, we've seen some pretty big acts there, so I was like, oh, she's like moving on up. But like, she has like the same amount of monthly listens as the Lone Bellow, so they're both kind of in the same category, I would think.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. So as we move through our picks for this record, what we like, what we don't like, and I've got some things for open discussion and even a couple of points for if you recommend this record and whatnot. We always ask what your best tracks are on the record, and I will turn that over to you, Michelle, to tell us first. What are your best tracks on this record?
All of them? I'm just kidding.
No, you know what? I do that a lot with records I pick too.
I picked my jams, the ones that I like more than the others. New Rush, Nothing to No One, Written in the Water, which I think Written in the Water is the one you're probably thinking of that one that had like 13 million listens. I think that's this like quote unquote single.
So far you have 3 of the 4 that I picked, but go on.
Okay. Holding On to Hell and I Will Love You.
Right on. Oh yeah. You know what? I left I Will Love You off of this, but I shouldn't have. That's such a great way to end. It's a great song, and it's a great way to end the record.
Do you remember when we went and saw her that someone got engaged to that song on stage?
I do.
To this day, it gives me chills, and I'm like, I want that to be my wedding song. Like, it's such a beautiful song.
With my history in concert going in Detroit, I've been to the Magic Bag probably 1,000 times, and there's 3 shows that stick out to me for various reasons. One is when I went and saw Tom Kiefer there from Cinderella. That's a story for another time, but that show stuck out to me a great deal. The Gin Wigmore show and I joke about, I truly can never remember if that's the one we went to on my birthday or not, but I very much remember the show, and I remember it for that reason.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the Parker Millsap show we went to, where there was like a handful of people, and he still played like he was playing to a sold out arena.
Yep. The Gin Wigmore thing is that, like, I don't I guess I don't know a lot of artists that would be like, yeah, totally, like, come on stage, I will sing this song while you propose
Right.
to your girlfriend, and like that's fine. Like, I'm gonna do this for you. Like, they just said that they just reached out on like Twitter or something, I think
Mhm.
she said, and they were like, he was like, I want to do this for you, or I want to do this. Can you help me out? And she was like, heck yeah. Like, she was
Yeah.
into it. Like, I don't usually get teary eyed at
Anything.
proposals, anything at all, especially proposals. But like that, it was very moving, especially when you pair it with the song.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I do love that that's what, we talk a lot on the show about ticket prices and the debacle that is trying to go to a big name artist concert anymore. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's better to catch artists on the come up now.
Yeah.
Like things like that. Like you're never going to, if she quote unquote breaks and starts playing arenas, you wouldn't even be able to get word to her. Like, she'd have social media managers. Like, she wouldn't even see her own tweets or Instagram.
Oh,
posts.
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you did hit 3 of the 4 that I had. The comments that I had, I think New Rush is a fantastic way to open the record.
That's exactly what I said. I said that it was a great opener, and it sets the tone for the entire rest of the record.
I concur. And also for Nothing to No One, I think, and I've labored this point on the show about how much running order and track list matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to No One could fit nowhere else on this record other than in the second slot. So it makes for a great
I never
punch.
thought about it that way, but yeah, you're right.
Written in the Water, I didn't really have any notes on, but I just liked it a lot. And then DFU was one that I put in there.
I do like it, and I actually was looking it up, trying to figure out what that stands for.
I don't have any idea what it stands for, but I love the layered vocals.
Yeah.
Like the double track. I think it's harmonic vocals. Just love it. Love it.
Yeah, I was like reading through the lyrics, like even though I was listening to it, I was like reading through it to see if like there was some sort of explanation, and then like I Googled it, but because it's not really like a
Urban Dictionary.
Well, yeah, but like it's not really like it's not that popular to have people like looking into it, I don't think.
Right on. Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I like you said, the all of it is could be best tracks, but I just wanted to pick out some that I liked, and DFU for me specifically came to, I really like the different take on the vocals in that track.
Yep. I do like that the whole record, I know it's probably a general discussion, but she doesn't always have the same sound. Like, every song isn't always that raspy voice that she has, which I love, but it's doing an entire record of that could be a little bit much. And so like she actually can sing in a different way, and it's still just as beautiful.
Speaking of raspy voice, we were in a Big Lots the other day and heard Anderson East over the in the overhead, and Lauren was like, "Oh wow, I know this guy, but I don't know this guy." And I was like, "Oh boy, I'm like, I go back with Anderson East, And I was like, now if you ask Michelle, she'll tell you he's a much better singer live than he is than he is in the studio, because he has a lot more rasp live. And I was like, it's okay for people to sing, either way. And you were like, no, it's not.
No.
Yeah. So
I want all the frogs in your throat.
Yes, which live, Anderson East has all of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he smoked like an entire pack of cigarettes and then comes out.
Right.
That's my favorite.
I assume you don't have any stinkers. I do have a comment I would like to make on stinkers, but I will ask you if you have any stinkers on this record.
I have an unjam. It doesn't ruin the record for me, and
a song
it doesn't.
That's consciously unjammed.
Yes. You've been unjammed.
God damn it. I should totally make that drop. And totally like a 90s shock jock thing, like with all the echo, like, you've been unjammed.
Yes. Like
Weenie and the Baby. You've been unjammed.
What's that from?
I said it wrong. It's Dingo and the Baby. Yeah, from Family Guy. Dingo and the Baby.
The baby.
So you have an unjam.
I do have an unjam. It's 24. It's not the best song on the record. It's absolutely my least favorite, but I don't hate it. I just think that it's there, and if it was missing, it would not hurt my feelings.
So it's funny. I don't have that exact song.
Okay.
I have a different song, but I kid you not. If I were going to pick one, it would be this song, and I'll tell you what it is in a minute. But then under that, in parentheses, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. That's like literally what it doesn't
it doesn't make or break the album for me. And I was gonna say all of them, and then as I was listening to it today at work, and this one song came out, and I was like, I don't think I love this song. And I looked at it, and I was like, yeah, I'll just pick that one.
So here's how I feel about it. Black Parade. That's the one that I just was like, yeah, like but again, I don't like, if you put this record on, I would never be like, oh Jesus, please skip this. Like, it's not, it gets better by fun, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's not one song on here that I would be like,
but but if you put this record on, this is the song I would talk over.
Like if Black Parade had a scratch through it, it'd be fine.
Yeah, would be totally cool with that.
Okay.
As far as open discussion goes, I'm sure you have a couple of points to make. The first one I kind of touched on already a little bit for me is I love the running order on this record. I know I might be unique in that. I don't know, but that's like the first thing I go after when I listen to a record for the first time does everything
notice
sound
it
right?
unless it's wrong.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And so the fact that I didn't notice it on this record, I mean, is saying all that I guess I can say for myself is that I do feel like it flowed beautifully, that there was no hard starts and stops, that I didn't find my mind wandering.
Right.
And like that kind of stuff during the record. So I can appreciate it in my own way, I guess.
Yeah. The only song I felt that way about is Black Parade, where my mind would wander a little bit, but I not to the point where I'd say take it off the record.
Right. For sure.
Another point on this record for me is this sounds quite a bit different than her first two records to me.
Oh yeah.
However, I put in some extra time just to look into the writing credits of this because, and I've talked about this on the show before, like when Metallica changes sounds, or Pink Floyd or U2 changes sounds, and their fans have the nerve to be like, well, that's not Metallica anymore. Like if those four guys get in the room and write a song and record it, that's Metallica, whether you like it or not. Right.
Right.
So what I wanted to do, because sometimes when artists change sounds, you will find that it either wasn't their choice or they've employed an army of songwriters to, quote, fix their sound or change it. And from everything I could see, she had a hand in writing every song on this record. There were co-writers on a few songs, but it didn't. Let me put it this way. I know enough about the music industry to where I know there are certain names that show up a great deal that are like song doctors, like people that get brought in to help fix your sound. And I didn't see any of those names.
Yeah, everyone needs a little help.
Well, yeah, and also I think it's healthy to expand your horizons too.
Yeah, I think I feel like this was the first record that she did that I don't even know how to explain it, that she put a lot more work into. I felt like it was like, this is the one that she was hoping would go big. I remember when it came out, or shortly thereafter, hoping that it would be the one that like this was going to be her big break, because it was it felt like more polished. That's the word. It felt more polished than her first two records. Like she was working harder to get this one out.
Right. Another observation on my part is this is another thing that makes I do not understand how you don't like Portishead at all, because there's trip hop elements all over this record. Like you don't, I guarantee if you shake Gin Wigmore awake in the middle of the night and be like, who's one of your vocal influences? She'll be like Beth Gibbons. Who, by the way, Michelle is from Portishead.
I can put two to two together. Thank you.
You should listen to some of our older episodes. But there's trip hop all over this record, but it's also very poppy in a lot of places on the record, and somehow it all fits together.
Yes. I don't even know what style would you call this record.
For me, it leans hard toward trip hop. I wouldn't call it a trip hop record, but
like if you were categorizing it, I don't think any of her stuff's on vinyl, by the way, which I don't know how to fix that, but someone needs to fix that. What would you put it in the record store?
If I'm standing in a standard regular record store, like not with a billion different genres, right?
Yeah,
I would put this in pop.
I could see that. I don't know where else it would fit.
Me either. The other part for me that's important is that you still hear her soul and her unique voice on this record, even though it's different than the first two.
I feel like it's more tamed. It's more I know I say polished again, but I agree.
So yeah, that's just some points I wanted to talk about. Was there anything you wanted to bring up on the record that maybe I didn't
it's
touch
38
on?
minutes,
which is perfect for Michelle Land.
It's so good.
Like when you enter Michelle Land, do they just give you like a list of rules and your album may not be over 38 minutes?
Yeah, like 35 is like the sweet spot, but for Jen I would go 38.
Oh, she'll be excited to hear about that.
And then just in general, a general comment on her. I've seen her twice in concert, and she pours it out on stage, and she gives everything she's got, and she's like funny, and she has this feeling that she sings with, and it's just you like her albums, and it's just another experience to see her live. And if anybody gets the chance, I would highly recommend it. She does not disappoint. Definitely worth the money if you have to pay for it.
which you're definitely opposed to, but you would pay for Gin Wigmore.
Yeah, I even had free tickets to see her last year, and I couldn't go
That's such a bummer.
because of babies.
Because I chose to procreate.
Ruining my good time.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was just gonna say that if you like this album, I do think you'll like the rest of them, but you can definitely, they're not all the same. I mean, she definitely has the same. Obviously, her voice is the same.
Yeah,
but I
the
definitely
same
think that they're not. It's not the same record over and over and over again.
Right, which is I talk about that a great deal on the show. That I like when artists evolve. I like when my thing is when people say give you an example. One of my favorite records of all time is Muse of Death by Roger Waters, which came out in 1992, and he didn't put out another studio record until 2016. And when the record in 2016 came out, the initial reaction among Pink Floyd fans was, well, this isn't anything like a Muse to Death. And I was like, okay, good. I already own a Muse to Death. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want, Wish You Were Here sounds far different from Dark Side of the Moon, sounds far different from Animals. You know what I mean? Like, I want my artists to grow and evolve.
Yeah, Mumford & Sons is another great example. Each one of their records is one step towards how they ended with Delta, and it's just it's amazing to see when an artist can grow like that and still be just as amazing. Because some artists go the wrong way,
right? Well, yeah, but I still applaud when they try.
Yes, sure.
You're like, you can allow that. I don't allow that tomfoolery.
I mean, it's better than doing, I guess, the same thing over and over and over again just to get the money if you want to try something new. But I definitely think that if any of these songs tickle your fancy, that you should check out the rest of her catalog. She only has 4 records, so
right on. We always ask, would you buy this record? Now, I know, Michelle, you already labored the point that you can't get anything of hers on vinyl, and you would like someone to correct that for you.
Yes.
Which I understand. But if you were able to just walk into a record store, let's say you had a gift card for Dearborn Music that you still haven't used.
How do you know?
Because I know you. We've been friends for a while. So let's say you had a gift card for Dearborn Music and you could walk in there. Would you use that gift card on this record? Or actually take it one step further. Would you use your own actual money to buy this on vinyl?
I would, and I would buy it for somebody else.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I would buy it for myself on vinyl. This is so weird. I don't think I would stream this record often, but I would buy it to play through on vinyl.
I think it's a good record, especially a record, because you can play it front to back.
Yeah, no, I concur. We always say, would you recommend? And we always ask, would you recommend? And I mentioned this earlier that I have an extra point on this. So Michelle, would you recommend this to other people? I assume so, because you just said you would buy it for someone. So
I would go door knocking for Gin Wigmore. Have you heard the good word of Gin Wigmore?
Yeah. Do you have a moment to talk about Gin Wigmore? So here's my thing. Yes. I would recommend this record in the first place. So yes, but I would recommend this record specifically to people who say, which is one of the reasons we do this show, is people who go, oh, all music sounds the same now. Or, oh, there's nothing unique and different out there. You know what I mean? Like people who say like, oh, everything sounds the same. No, it doesn't. You're just not looking for it. Like this is a strong, independent, unique female who isn't going to be featured on American Idol anytime soon. Let me put it that way.
Oh, for sure.
That if you are a person who sits back and says everything sounds the same and then you need to hear this, right? And further to that point, me personally, I would play Written in the Water or In My Way first. And if somebody said, oh, I like that, then I'd be like, oh boy, you need to hear the rest of the record.
Yeah. I think that if you don't love her voice, then you should that's fine. Like you should just give up. That's because that's a lot of what that is. And I know it's not for everybody, but if you like that kind of music and you love her voice, then boy, are you in for a good time.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I would agree on that too, that we keep stressing her voice in a unique way because you and I happen to like her voice. But then there's the Geddy Lee principle, right? Where like a lot of people who love Rush love Geddy Lee's voice, and a lot of people who don't like Rush don't love Geddy Lee's voice.
You know who doesn't think he sounds like Geddy Lee?
The guy from Coheed who's full of shit.
Claudio.
Yeah. The guy from Coheed. It's not even, first of all, I don't know if he can't hear himself. Like, I don't know if he's got some sort of medical condition where he can't hear himself, but it's not even that. It's that he gets uppity about it. Like, dude,
offended.
Yeah. Like, as in, how dare you tell me that I sound like one of the greatest vocalists and most successful vocalists and most decorated vocalists in the history of rock? You know, like
Claudio could just fill in for Geddy Lee on a Rush tour and it would be great.
Yeah. Or like stand backstage and sing it, you know, like with Geddy out front and nobody would
know.
Oh,
yeah. Nobody would know.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry, we got off track.
So we get into the rating of the record. We always do a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best. Michelle, what is your rating 1 to 10 on this record?
I'm going to give this record a 9.
Wow. I don't know off the top of my head, but I seriously think that might be the highest rating you've ever given.
I don't know what a 10 is, but I don't really have anything bad to say about it except for that one song.
One need only refer to the records I brought to the table, such as Sturgill Simpson's Sailor's Guide to Earth or Pink Floyd's The Wall, to find out what 10s are, or Michael Jackson History, all 10s.
Or Pet Sounds.
Or Beach Boys' Pet Sounds as well. Yeah. Gin Wigmore, if you're listening to this episode, I would like you to know that one of your biggest fans gave Pet Sounds a 5 out of 10. For me, on this record, I gave it an 8. And the reason why is because I really like it, but it's not, I wouldn't run out and buy it immediately. Like if I was in the record store and it was there, but like, it's not something that I would like stop what I'm doing to like run and buy. Right.
Yeah. I feel like it's definitely something that you appreciate, but it's not something that is in your regularly played wheelhouse.
Right. Which is, I feel like 8 is pretty decent for me because
for sure. I did not expect you to give it an 8.
Yeah,
or even like the record that much. So.
Yeah, no, I like the record a great deal, and I'm probably letting some of my, like, I did have I was fortunate enough to see her in concert, and I agree with everything you said about what she puts into a show, and I'm probably letting that color my opinion to a certain extent, but I think that's okay because we saw her around either right before or right after this record came out.
I was trying to think if it was in 2015, if this was like right before her record came out, but I think it was probably 2016. She was probably still on tour for this record, but
yeah. So yeah, still touring for this record.
Yeah.
So Gin Wigmore, Blood to Bone is a record that you should definitely check out. If nothing else, and we have a lot of listeners of this show that say, I'd never heard that record before, so I took a listen to it, after your review of it, and I really didn't like what I heard. Or like, oh wow, now I have a new favorite artist or whatever. Based on what we're saying, I would tell you to at least give it a chance. And I would tell you exactly what Michelle said. If you get one song in and you think, I'm not in love with her voice, at the risk of sounding offensive, it's not going to get any better. But if you listen to her and you go, oh, that's a unique voice, I dig that, then, oh man, like, I think Michelle, you said, oh boy, are you in for a treat,
Yeah. There's 4 albums of it.
Yeah.
Which I think is weird. So she has 4 albums, and then I think since her last album, she's put out like 3 or 4 singles, but they've been like a couple, like one a year. Like do people do that? Like it's just a single, but it's never going to make it on a record?
Yeah, more so. I see that more and more and more. Believe it or not, I swear this is true. The first 2 artists I ever heard to do that was like back in the mid 2000s. Prince started doing that. Like he would just put out like 2, 3, 4 songs a year. And then he would like couple it with, I don't know, another 4 or 5 songs and then put out a record. And then I swear to God, this is true. The next person I heard do that is Weird Al Yankovic. Before Alpocalypse came out, he released like 4 or 5 one-off songs on the internet and then like put other stuff with them and released it as the record Alpocalypse. But John Mayer is another one that the last record he put out, I can see the cover in my head, but I can't think of it.
Got the 80s vibes.
Yeah. But about half of that record came out over a couple of years of just one song at a time here and there. And then he finally put it all together and put it.
Gives me hope that maybe there's a full record coming around the corner.
Yeah, that would be rad. Me being an old, I love the album format. I like getting all the new music all at once. But I understand that, you kids in the newfangled internet, this is how this is going to go. So yeah, I get it. So that was our album review of the third album from Gin Wigmore. Check it out. Let us know what you think. Next week on the program, believe it or not, the next episode that we record after this, the day it gets released, will actually be the 3-year anniversary of the Infectious Groove podcast, from the 3 years from the day where we released our very first episode, which is quite an accomplishment in my opinion. And just before we went to hit record button here, I found out that Michelle is going to do all of us a favor and show up to record that with me next week. And so that's going to be 2 weeks in a row. In a row of Michelle, which I think will be fun. And so for that episode, we're just going to talk through some of the highlights and lowlights of the past couple of years of doing the show together. And then, not to put the cart too far before the horse, but that will be the season finale for season 7 of the show. We'll take 2 weeks off after that, and then we'll come back with the season opener for season 8 in early February. And Michelle will be here for that as well. So even though there's a couple week break in there, you're going to get 3 whole weeks, 3 episodes of Michelle in a row. And I don't even know what we're going to charge for that yet. It's got to be a high dollar.
It's going to be on our Patreon.
Yeah, absolutely. The Patreon continues to grow, by the way, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
So anyways, that is what we have coming up. Make sure to listen to this record from Gin Wigmore and let us know what you think of it. And look forward to our 3-year special coming at you a week from the day that you are hearing this. Like we always say about this time, without music, life would be a mistake. Bye.
Bye. The Infectious Groove podcast is hosted by Russ Robinson, Kyle Wimple, and Michelle Kasalecki. Produced and edited by Russ Robinson. Intro and outro music composed by Chris Kimmel. Recorded with a Rode Podcaster Pro and Rode Pod mics.